remembered for this recent weekend. Like, obviously, our team hasn't been like in the process of blowing up since last Monday. So of course, this weekend's pro league is like going to be a very different environment. You know what I mean? So hope that. The only thing that like really sucks about this process is kind of how it went down towards the end. Like today.
Okay. Cheers, big fella. What's up, Duck? You know what, dude? I just realized I cooked the steak and everything, and Rocky never came upstairs. A mooching cocksucker never even came up, dude. Probably feels bad. That motherfucker don't feel bad at all, dude. He feels bad because he never got a piece of steak that night.
Hey, Sabi and Eldest and whoever the guest is. I just need some advice. So my boyfriend and I have known each other for 10 years. We basically just hooked up for a really long time initially, and then it was like a friends with benefits kind of thing. And then like 4 years ago, he finally told me he loved me and
Loved you.
he lives with me now and all of that.
Wow,
so
that's quite the
initially, our
jump.
whole relationship was just us hooking up. But then the last couple of years, he's had issues getting it up and like staying hard. And he also has this like autoimmune issue that causes cysts in his like armpits and waistline, which can be
Jesus
painful.
Christ.
So basically, we haven't had sex in a really long time, like in a concerningly long time. Like it's been so long. So I
This
kind
chick
of
needs
just
her
need to
pussy
get fucked,
slammed.
honestly. I was wondering if you guys had any advice. Obviously, I kind of just need to get fucked, honestly. I was wondering if you guys had any advice. Obviously, I know we have
Holy
to have a
fuck.
conversation, but like any other advice? And then also, how do I have that conversation without, I guess, like embarrassing him? Because I obviously know it isn't necessarily his fault. At least I don't think it is. Also, some like additional information. When we were hooking up and then like initially transitioning into a relationship, we were open and could hook up with other people, which I guess technically can be something that I mentioned if and when I have this conversation with him. But I don't.
Well, well, well. Look who it is. Can you take a Viagra? Yeah, like this chick's just retarded. The rat wants a steak. Yeah. Alright, I gotta go take this fucking goober outside real quick. Now that he's up, he's gonna need out. I'll be right back, Mr. Duck, and then we'll continue watching this if that's cool with you. Get going, you little rat. Come on. Get going. Which side? Get going. Get going. And you wiggle that ass. Come on. Dude, you're not getting no fucking steak. You're not getting no fucking steak, dude. I swear to God. I'm telling... You know what? Here. This is yours. I want to ever hear you fucking say I don't give you nothing. You have the fat strip. Here you go. Come here. Come here. Take it nice. Don't bring it on my bed. There you go. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting. I just gave you a huge strip of fat. And once he's done, he'll go back downstairs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a squirmy little rat like that. He's a squirmer, aren't you, buddy? Hey. Yeah, you lick that carpet, buddy. Clean up where that steak was. Alright, let's continue this video.
I don't know how either of us would feel about being open at this point, considering it seems like it would just be me hooking up with someone else.
He's just writhing in pain with fucking armpit cysts. It's like, my soft dick and my cysts. And my girlfriend's just getting railed.
At least my girlfriend's getting fucked. That's a tough situation right there.
Yeah.
I think...
Is there more to it, Elvis? Should we dive in now, you think? Go ahead. Just let's
my hold up with that is that maybe his issue is actually with me and not the stuff I think he has going on. So if I have that conversation and then he were to hook up with somebody else at that point, that would be so crazy after all this time. So yeah, any advice would be greatly appreciated. Obviously love him. Don't want to hurt his feelings.
No,
I
fucking around on the clothes
really need to get fucked.
Interesting.
Thank you guys. Bye.
I respect this. This is a woman who knows her needs. And if it was a guy in the situation, obviously it's the same thing. And sometimes you just got to get a nut off.
Yeah.
You had some thoughts?
Well, I was just gonna say I don't know how old the caller is. She sounds a little younger than us, if I had to guess. But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I think just a conversation's the easiest way to go. I think
For
just
sure.
I
10
think
years.
just,
They know each other for 10 years.
just that. Be like, hey man, what's the deal? You know what I mean? I started doing that later in life, probably later than I should.
Me too.
But like when I just notice the vibe is off, I'm just like, yo, is everything all good?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
figures out pretty quick. Dude.
For sure,
like
for sure.
It's and as someone with a penis, if my penis wasn't working and my girlfriend was like, I need dick, I think I'd be like, just talk to me, and I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Where like I can help you out.
Sure.
Or maybe we can get this thing working.
Sure.
I'm a huge. It's such a lame answer because it's like the accurate answer. Like I'm a huge communication guy.
Fire alarm.
It's all it is.
already
Every
done,
problem
diddly
is
diddle.
just miscommunication.
Yeah, and I think like I mean, look, if I'm her, I mean, this also is a tough relationship to stick the landing on. I think like absolute no strings attached fuck buddies, to like kind of friends with benefits that are sort of in each other's lives, to open relationship, to finally it's monogamous and now his dick's not getting hard. That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
You know, like I think because your relationship
daughter's
started
coming
in such
down
an-
this
in sort of
weekend.
like a non-traditional way, communication is even more key.
Yes.
Because like you can't just kind of assume everything's all right, you know. And
So
I'm
today
also
will be the
with you where
last
it's
day
like,
of smoke?
Look, my dick
Cheers to
doesn't
that,
work
yeah.
half the time.
Today will be the last day of smoke in
That
my
doesn't stop me
room.
from trying to fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just fucking eat pussy and, like, you know, jack my pathetic little dick off. But I'm doing it with a woman I love. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'll do whatever you want to you.
Totally,
Like, I don't give a shit.
that's the thing. If even my dick didn't work, whatever, and, like, my girlfriend was horny, I'd be like, all right, we
I
can
didn't
figure
get
some
shit
stuff
figured out, brother. I still gotta go to court and shit like that, probably. Unless, like, I don't even really know if we need to go to court, actually. But I do need to pay a lawyer to get involved again. And at least rearrange our agreement. How am I seeing them? Because my daughter apparently was literally begging for her to see me. For me to like to spend the weekend at my place. Apparently she was, quote, begging. She's been begging me all week. So that's how.
stuff out. Like, and yeah, like that's I have that joke in my last special where it was like I like hooking up with bi girls because like if my dick doesn't get hard, it's like nice. We're just lesbians, you know what I mean? Like we'll just eat pussy, we'll finger each other, like great, you know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
I do think there's something going on here, and I think you should. I guess one thing is be open
Low-key.
to, like although she's saying she really needs to get fucked, maybe she is the kind of girl that needs to be pounded.
Yeah, but she can't be because it's been years already. I don't know how long. She said a really long time. I'm guessing.
Concerningly long time.
I'm guessing it's over a year. So you can't
Yeah.
be like.
Maybe, or who knows? This fucking freak. It might be.
She's
It
like,
might be 3
He
weeks.
hasn't fucked me since Tuesday.
No, but it's probably at least it's a we can safely assume it's a serious chunk of time.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
I've had kind of the opposite situation here where I had a new girlfriend and things weren't starting off smoothly. I don't know what, because I was young. It was like the first time it's ever really happened to me. And I was the one to communicate with her where I was like, look, I understand this feels weird. Like I just want you to know, like I just gotta have a long-term relationship and like I think I just need a little time to smooth things over with that and like then I'll be ready. And she just goes, yeah, I don't know, you gotta figure that out.
She's like, I need a hard cock.
I was like, damn, I was being pretty vulnerable with you there.
Plump your shit up or hit the bricks. That's fucking hysterical.
Dude, this is the same girl who I later got dumped by for reasons you can guess.
Yeah.
And we had been thinking about moving in together. But it was like one of those like New York City move-ins.
Sure.
Like we've been
Under
together like
duress.
8 months. We can't
Yeah,
afford
yeah,
rent alone.
right,
Might as well get in. And so we've been thinking about moving in together. And one day she's like, hey, let's grab a drink. Sounds great. We sit down, order 2 beers. She goes, I think we shouldn't live together. And I was like, cool. I was thinking about re-up my lease anyway. No big deal. Sounds good with me. And I could see her across the table just like, he's not getting it.
Like, awesome. Who wants to get movers? I can barely afford it. You know, whatever.
And she's like, so our beers get placed in front of us by the waitress. And she's like, no, what I'm saying is I think we should break up. And I was like, oh, okay. And I started sipping the beer. But then I was like, well, I can't just put this beer down and like walk away.
You chugged the beer?
So I chugged it.
Yeah, bitch. Oh, yeah. Go. This is what you're fucking missing out on.
But I was crying.
Oh,
So I was crying. I was trying to hold the tears in.
Oh, my. Tearing up,
like,
chugging a beer.
Choking, and it's starting to spill out of the side of my mouth.
Dude.
But I'm like, I can't put it down.
Yeah.
So I fucking finished the beer and put it down. And she just looks at me like, I'm a psycho.
Of course. I mean, that is insane.
And she goes, yeah, you don't have to stay if you don't want to. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna leave.
I'm gonna go, and you're paying for this beer I chugged.
I did leave. I think she picked up the bill. She was a great chick. It was all my fault.
Was it because your dick? So far, I've heard your dick wasn't hard for a second, and then
it was.
But you did more. You had more issues in the relationship.
Not really. I think it was just like I didn't see the relationship for what it was, which was she was just taking a little time out. She'd already found the guy she was marrying.
Oh, really?
And like, it was like she broke up with the guy. We started dating
That's
like
insane.
immediately.
Hold on. You've been gaslit by this woman. She found the man she was marrying. She gave him a little time out, and she was like, well, I got to get my hole stuffed in the meantime. So who's the guy I don't give a fuck about that I can just string along for a second? She talked about moving in with you. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ,
Thank
dude.
you, bro. Thank you. I've been here. I've been for fucking 10 years been like, you stupid idiot. Why'd you think that was real?
It's not your fault, man.
Yeah, dude. Is this Goodwill Hunting right now? You're about to start fucking... Get him a beer.
You want it out of my room now, do you, Rocky? Yeah, for sure, buddy.
Miller
Here you go.
So he can
I'll open the door for
crying.
you. I'll open the door for you. Here you go. Keep going. Fucking little bastard. Guy.
The team in front of us was shooting someone pylon. Map room, pylon. Direction.
Please don't shoot us.
They might shoot us. Some nuts. We're good. Pylon. You done?
I'm dead. Oh my god.
Portaling. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna.
They're running at us, by the way, running at us.
Portal and res, okay?
Punching a tunnel.
Just take it right away. Ral res, okay? Just hold. Should be good. There's the door. It's a sparrow. I'm putting Spectre down. I'm putting Sparrow down. Name it all. Break that, please.
Back door. In.
Fair. I'll take a part.
Dead. Fire. One Philo. One.
Dead. Where's left? He's inside. Dead.
I'm dead.
Take portal.
It's gone. I'm dead.
Like, we just get retarded. I'm dead. You retarded. Get me the fuck out. Get me. I'm dead.
Like, are you f***ing kidding me, man? Like, this is no. I'm not playing the. Like, what the?
I'm gonna start donating to charities or something. I'm giving away all my money. Something's wrong. Something is not right.
Insane.
Like, tell me what we can do in a single game today. A single one. Just a 1 out of 6. Oh my god, bro.
Who's Hot Dog Mafia?
Skittles.
Menace.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fighting on the most congested rotate part.
I mean, did they not just
On
put a
the
fucking sparrow dart on his way
entire
in?
map.
Can we talk about also why there's a team coming from Pylon side into Jurassic instead of going south, like that way? Why are they coming like the other opposite direction?
Pretty sure it's Nip, right?
I mean, that's the launchpad team.
Bro, we have
They have a
Launchpad
they
team.
have a beacon.
Launchpad team.
Yep.
Are you sure that was them? They were playing Sparrow.
Oh, now you're barking at me
yeah,
because you
it's
want
watch
back
it.
in, Rocky.
They literally
Suck my nut.
watched Hot Dog Mafia, by the way, hit the map room. Like I was sitting on the door, I watched their Sparrow queue our roof and hit the map room,
Yeah,
and they
that's
still
what I'm saying.
just fucking
Yeah.
did that.
I wanted
Not
to make
getting no
sure
more
that was
steak
getting
though,
away
just
before
because
the
you
push.
think you came back in. Like it's not how it works.
So
Oh.
did you guys watch Madness POV?
You're not getting no more.
of What just happened? He didn't look at
No.
Madness himself. Didn't look at the map at all.
Yeah, then complained that there was no one close to him.
Well, they hit the pylon map room and they saw a team close to them as well. He saw that, and then he hit the next map room, never opened his map.
No, I'm watching it on stream.
Bro, I'm telling you, you just can't teach it. Like some of the people we verse, bro, they just whatever they got, you can't teach.
They know. Wait.
They knew there was an up team off the pylon,
lose
area, and then they just ran at us. And they knew there was on pylon side.
They might get shot off that. I don't think that team lets them because they're playing nut.
Bro, I actually like.
I'm gonna shoot last though.
I
Wait,
think
they
that's
were.
the
I
funniest
Wait,
thing.
they were the team. They were the fucking team that shot you off the evac.
We should
Yeah,
look to kill
what?
us.
We knew that.
They're dropping down back on them. They're dropping down.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
You
doing
think someone else
reverse
just ran
over.
at us?
Yeah, I thought like the team that ran at like they ran away. They ran back, and then like someone else ran at us.
He hit me and scanned and still committed to it.
I think they were just praying that
Yeah,
we
it's just you right now. It's
didn't res within the 45 seconds that it took them to walk up.
Smoking my left and I'm looking forward.
Sounds fair.
Bro,
They didn't even talk about the map room. They literally didn't even talk about it.
Skittle afterwards goes, yeah, there was another team on map room, and then that was it.
You can see it on the mini map. He didn't even have to open the map to see it. And Skittles pinged it. He pinged it like when he hit the map room.
Where does dropped line on what those?
Grenades in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm looking.
No idea.
I wanna look here.
Grenades in there. We gotta plan
Crack one, crack one.
but we gotta plan madness inside.
Hey, they're swinging, they're swinging. They're TPing out.
Epi.
I just insta-died, bro.
Got a frag zone, and then they got the stacks walking somehow because whoever's
They're dying,
stacks
they're dying.
mod is just like not.
I mean, that side of the map, Ben, is
Nice guys.
is
Yep.
GG's, man. Like maybe we just have to not stream and play. Maybe that's what it is. We're just getting stream sniped.
Yeah, I think you're the famous one, so it's you. So you should not stream tomorrow, and I will. just test theory.
hey guys, the important thing is you all tried your best.
I'm done trying my best, and it's 7th place because the game decides what my best is. It's like genuinely feels RNG as like how you do.
That's what happens when there's a gun that can 2-tap, a gun that can...
We could have genuinely got 10
One
points
tap.
today, and it wouldn't have been like horrendous. So it's not that bad.
Alrighty, chat. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like honestly, like literally on like this is the most. I'm gonna be biased. Just, people are gonna say I'm biased, but genuinely, I have never played a meta of Apex or like a phase of Apex where I literally feel like every game is literally impossible, like genuinely impossible. Like just zone pull after zone pull to getting inted to winning. We literally won every single fight. We didn't lose a single fight. I'm like, that's not even an exaggeration. We didn't lose a single fight to anybody. We had 10 placement points out of our 40 points in 6 games. We were playing double zone POIs, and we only got beaconed 1 game or 2 games, maybe. I think it was 2 games, 1 or 2 games out of 6. In the games that we had beacon, we couldn't even go to another POI to hit beacon. Like, we tried to play edge. It literally feels impossible because you can't fight anyone without getting charge rifled or one shot. You try to play zone, you're relying on zone being favorable on you, and if it's not, then like good luck again. You're playing edge. It's just like what honestly what the I don't know, like genuinely, like I feel like literally the only game that we could have made a difference was the money game. That was there was an honest mistake from me and just honestly the entire team, and we deserved that outcome. But other than that, literally every other game, it just felt virtually impossible to like play anywhere or even move unless you get there before you. Like you play if you classic meta, if you have a position, it's literally impossible to kill you. Like even if you're a duo, Literally impossible. You can't push anyone at all. It's literally impossible. Like, it's just whoever gets a spot first, you win the game. And that was just literally the indication of the Harvester game. Someone got to both spots that we wanted before us, and our rotation after that was just like, you know, we had to go through 50 barrels of Costa gas and 5 million PK shots and the U.S. Army of I don't even know what. Like, I don't know, man. I actually don't know. I don't know.
I hear you. You think you're getting more steak from me or something, buddy? Am I grinding resources? No, this is a boss fight, actually. This is actually a boss fight. Can I eat my dinner? Yeah, can I eat my dinner? Okay. Alright, little man. What's wrong? What are you looking at me like that for? What are you looking at me like that for? What's wrong? I'm not giving you no more steak. But Deck says you're a rat. You gonna take that shit? You gonna take that shit, Rocks? You gonna take that? Oh, you gotta go outside? I hear your belly rumbling. Yeah. You gotta go outside, don't you? You fucking greasy little rat. I think Rocky wants to put OSRS. I think Rocky's trying not to shit all over me. I think that's what he's doing. Go. Come on. Come on. Go. Bro, there's no fucking way I just did that. Came in here tomorrow anyway. Fuck, man. Unreal. This fucking guy Jay is cutting regular ass logs, bro. This fucking demon, bro. I gotta screen capture this and send that to fucking Square Me. I gotta screenshot that and send that shit to Square Me. Watch him ask to play Apex? No, the new split starts tomorrow, so there's no way we're playing Apex tonight, I'll tell you that. Eat it up, brats. Perfectly cooked steak every time. Wanna know how Mooch and Rocky is? He just laid down right on my foot, and he goes, and he's just like looking up at me. I missed it. Let's see the steak.
My wife told me that this was the best.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. I just want to see the steak. Oh, it was a good looking steak. You have any good steakhouses near me? There's one of the best restaurants in all of Canada right in my town. No cap. Used to be anyway. I don't know if it still is. This is like 10 years ago. Obviously, shit changes. Um, it's like what they say: never get high on your own supply. I wouldn't be able to eat the steak, unfortunately. Um, but I've always wanted to own like a restaurant where I have like my own smokehouse or something. Smoking fucking steaks and you name it. Buddy, you're not getting any steak, Rocky. You mooching cocksucker. You're not getting any steak except for this piece. Sit. Lay down. Lay down. High five. High five. Circle. Another circle. Circle. You want it? Circle. Take it nice. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. That would be a good idea. Steak and tokes. No, I meant smokehouse and like smoking briskets and like pork shoulders and stuff. Like meat. Smoking meat. You get more business, more hungry people. Yeah, you ain't wrong. As stoners, we can eat. Golden, what's up? Disturbing cases that will keep you up at night. Let's hear it. I'm all for it. Bet you I'll be sleeping like a fucking baby.
Today's video is sponsored by Stamps.com.
Damn.
I know from personal experience how time-consuming shipping.
Shut the fuck up.
Let's begin today's video with a dark mystery that remains unsolved to this very day. One that won't only crush your soul, but also boggle your mind.
Crush your soul.
Gareth Williams was a 31-year-old
Crush your
Welsh
soul.
mathematician and junior analyst working at GCHQ, an intelligence and security organisation who worked closely with SIS, better known as MI6. Though officially a spy, Gareth wasn't a field agent a la James Bond, and was more involved with the technical side of espionage that few people can wrap their head around. That's all to say, Gareth Williams was a genius. He was studying mathematics at Bangor University while he was still attending secondary school, and where most people begin their higher education at 18 years old, Gareth had already graduated with first-class honours at 17. He went on to earn a PhD at Manchester University before moving to Cheltenham in 2001. There, he began working for the British Secret Service. During his time there, he worked closely with the US Security Agency and the FBI, though the exact nature of his work remains classified information to this day. All we know for sure is that his work involved the, quote, practical application of emerging technologies, and was deemed low risk.
This is fucking delicious.
Although it didn't need to be, Gareth's personal life was a closely guarded secret too. He was an extremely private person, the type of man who enjoyed his own company. His work at GCHQ suited him for that very reason. The organisation was based in the English countryside, where Gareth could enjoy long walks and bike rides, and socialise at a pace that suited him. In 2009, Gareth was transferred to MI6 in London. There, he began active operational work. But the fast-paced city lifestyle didn't suit our Welsh country boy. The following year, Gareth asked to return to GCHQ in Cheltenham, expressing how much he disliked the rat race, flash car competitions, and post-work drinking culture at MI6.
This guy sounds like a fucking goody-goody. I don't like the post-drinking culture. Yeah, this guy sucks the fucking fun out of the room as soon as he walks in, man. I swear to God. I know exactly the type of fucking person this guy is, just by hearing that. Jesus Christ. Him and I would not get along whatsoever. Like, at all. Point blank, period.
Transfer back in September. He never got the chance. On August 11th, 2010, Gareth returned to London after holidaying in America. He was last seen alive
You're not
on
getting no
August
steak.
14th,
Go.
caught on security cameras at Holland Park Underground Station and at Hans Crescent, just outside of Harrods, heading towards Sloane Street. His movements after that remain unknown. On the 23rd of August, detectives paid a visit to Gareth's top-floor flat in Pimlico, London, an MI6 safe house where he lived alone. By that point, he had missed 7 days of work without calling in, and given the incredibly sensitive nature of his work, his superiors decided a welfare check was in order.
Someone kidnap him and
The
torture
first thing
him
the officers
for
noticed upon
information?
arrival was that the flat had been locked from the outside. After gaining access, they found the apartment in an extremely clean and tidy condition. In fact, the only thing that struck them as odd was the temperature. The thermostat had been left on the maximum heat setting for quite some time.
Kill all DNA.
The officers made their way into the main bedroom's ensuite bathroom, where their concern only became more grave. The lights inside the bathroom were switched off, the shower curtain was drawn, and there was a foul stench emanating from the bathtub. They pulled back the curtain and found a large, red duffel bag resting in the bath. One officer went to unzip the bag, but noticed that it had been padlocked from the outside, with the Velcro handles fastened tightly. After finally getting into it, they looked upon its contents with abject horror. Inside was the decomposing body of Gareth Williams, curled up in the fetal position. He'd been dead for approximately 10 days. Underneath him, also inside the bag, was the key to the padlock. A confusing scene to say the least. Now the mystery the investigators had to solve was whether foul play was involved in Gareth's demise, or not.
What? What are you talking about?
Although his
How the fuck does he get in the bag? Is that even a fucking legitimate question? Am I fucking actually hearing this right? Am I fucking high right now? Yeah. But like, what the fuck?
decayed state made a thorough examination difficult.
That just tells me that the government did it. That's all. That's great.
The coroner quickly determined that Gareth had, on the balance of probabilities, been the victim of a homicide, and that he had most likely suffocated inside the bag.
You would have thought.
There was no evidence of the victim's fingerprints or DNA on the padlock, on the bag zipper, or the handles, and there weren't any finger, palm, or footprints anywhere on the bathtub, including on the rim. Nor were there any prints on the walls, which he likely would have touched to balance himself had he voluntarily gotten inside the bag. Gareth hadn't been found wearing gloves or shoes. In fact, he hadn't been found wearing anything at all, and if he had done this to himself for some reason, there would have been fingerprint evidence. That seemed to suggest that a third party had entered his flat, forced Gareth into the bag while he was still alive, locked him up with a secondary key, and then placed him in the bathtub. Inconclusive fragments of DNA from at least 2 other contributors were found on the bag, suggesting at the very least that other people had been present at the scene. Thing is, there were no signs of a forced entry into the apartment, nor any signs of a struggle. Gareth's body didn't show any defensive marks or injuries either, and his toxicology report came back clean. If he had been the victim of a hit, then the perps were professionals.
And it was the
These
government,
secrets
bro.
were later released to the public, depicting 2 individuals who were seen entering the communal entrance of Gareth's apartment building just 2 months before his untimely end. The couple appeared to be of Mediterranean descent, were said to be in their 20s or 30s, and had been buzzed into the complex. None of the building's other residents recognized them. Now here's where Gareth's case goes from weird to absolutely bizarre. A top-secret investigation conducted jointly with the Met Police and the FBI concluded that Gareth's demise was, quote, suspicious and unexplained, but that the most probable scenario was that Gareth had accidentally locked himself in the bag while playing Houdini. They claimed that it was theoretically possible for Gareth to have lowered himself into the duffel bag without touching the rim of the bathtub or the wall, and then locked himself in.
Telling you, that's just the government right there. That's how dirty these fucks are. The government definitely killed this man.
Inside of it, along with the key. But why would he do such a thing? Well, they revealed that over the past several years, Gareth had been visiting bondage websites, and that he was either into that kind of thing, or that his secret hobby was escapology. His landlady also said that on one occasion, she had heard Gareth yelling for help in the early hours of the morning. She found him with his hands tied to his bedpost with rope. The investigators also announced, quite unnecessarily, that Gareth owned £20,000 of high-end women's clothing, as well as 26 pairs of women's shoes, female wigs, and makeup. It sounded to many as if the investigation team were trying to paint Gareth in a negative light, and were suggesting that this was simply a terrible game gone wrong. The thing is, a lot of these announcements made by the authorities were later discredited. If it were theoretically possible for Gareth to have bagged himself up in the bathtub without leaving any fingerprints behind, then it was still nigh on impossible. 2 expert escapologists made 400 attempts to lock themselves up exactly as Gareth had, and they failed every attempt. Pathologists also revealed that Gareth would have been overcome by hypercapnia after only 2 or 3 minutes inside the tightly zipped bag, and that this highly intelligent young man would have known this. Either he had made a very foolish mistake for a cheap thrill, or he had been ordered into the bag against his will, or incapacitated and placed inside it. The coroner also rejected the idea that Gareth's demise was self-inflicted, and that his visits to those bondage websites were sporadic, made up a small percentage of his time online, and didn't indicate that he had an active interest in those sorts of activities. The coroner also criticised the investigation team for revealing so much about Gareth's private information and personal life, including the fact that he owned women's clothes, and accused them of media manipulation, stating she thought it was entirely possible that MI6 agents were involved in his slaying. Gareth Williams' family have since alleged that DNA and fingerprint evidence have been wiped from Gareth's apartment as part of a cover-up. I think it's worth remembering at this point that when detectives first entered Gareth's flat, they found the central heating had been left on the maximum setting. That strikes me as odd. This was August in London, a particularly hot and stuffy time of year. It's been suggested that somebody may have tampered with the thermostat in order to, quote, speed up the victim's decomposition. There are 2 more things worth noting at this point. Firstly, that Gareth's iPhone was found at the scene, and, curiously, it had been reset to its factory settings shortly before he perished. Secondly, that equipment left inside the flat by the forensic team also mysteriously moved before their investigation was complete, despite the fact that guards were stationed outside the door 24/7. Just to complicate this mystery even further, in 2015, a former KGB agent who defected to the UK claimed that Russia were the ones responsible for slaying Gareth Williams. According to this agent, Moscow had tried to convince Gareth to become a double agent, first through coercion, then through blackmail. In response, Gareth told them that he knew the identity of a Russian spy inside GCHQ and threatened to reveal their identity if they didn't leave him alone. Well, this threat apparently got under Moscow's skin and prompted them to get under Gareth's. Literally. The former KGB agent asserted that Russian agents paid Gareth a visit in London, where they injected the inside of his ear with an untraceable poison. This claim didn't come completely out of nowhere either. Some sources had previously claimed that Gareth's job involved tracking the flow of cash from Russia to Europe. Still, it's unclear just how truthful this KGB agent's confession was. We're not even sure if his role at MI6 involved counterintelligence against the Russians or not, since the US State Department asked that no details of his work be revealed.
Tells you all you need to know.
Speaking of the US, in 2015, an anonymous intelligence source revealed that Gareth had hacked into secret data on the former US President, Bill Clinton. According to this source, Gareth had dug out a guest list for an event that Clinton was due to attend as a favour for a friend. Some have theorised that it wasn't Moscow who was responsible for Gareth's hit, but Washington, D.C. To be clear, this source reported all of this to The Sun on Sunday, so maybe it's not the most reliable piece of information. Take it with a large grain of salt. So, was Gareth's demise connected to his work at MI6? If so, was he silenced by foreign agents or by his own people? If the British took him out, why would they have done so in a way that caused such a media scandal? If the Americans or the Russians were responsible, why would the British prevent any information from becoming public and help cover everything up? Frustratingly, we don't have any conclusive answers to any of those questions. But Occam's razor does point us towards one conclusion: that this was no accident, and that our own governments were probably involved in some way, either directly or indirectly. But the really soul-crushing part is that if that's true, Gareth will almost certainly never receive justice for what happened to him.
No shit.
And his family will never get the answers they so desperately hope for. Because for unknown reasons, the people who we trust to find those answers don't want them revealed.
Rocky, that's it. There's nothing left. Nothing left. No more steak. There's no more steak. Nothing.
Moving on from the UK, we head to Australia now to examine a much less mysterious, but far more gruesome story. The story of Catherine Knight. Described by many as the female Hannibal Lecter, the details of this malicious woman's case are some of the most disturbing I've come across in all my years of YouTubing. This one's not for the faint of heart, but if your stomach's strong enough to stick around, you're in for a wild ride. It's safe to say that Catherine Knight's life was an unconventional one. In fact,
why is your face so red?
Her entire existence began unconventionally. Prior to Catherine's birth, her mother, Barbara, lived with her husband Jack and their 4 sons in Aberdeen, New South Wales. What Jack wasn't privy to, however, was that Barbara was secretly having an affair with a man named Ken Knight. When news of her adultery broke out, Barbara and Ken were effectively chased out of town. The couple went on to have 4 of their own children together, including a set of twin daughters in 1955, one of whom was Catherine. Sadly, Catherine didn't get to enjoy a happy home life. Her father, Ken, was an aggressive man, and Barbara was an apathetic mother. Catherine and her siblings were, in many ways, left to raise themselves. This dysfunctional home life resulted in young Catherine developing something of a warped mind, a problem which only worsened in 1969, when her uncle, Oscar, the only family member she actually liked, cut his own life short. To this very day, in fact, Catherine maintains that her uncle's ghost visits her regularly. During her school years, Catherine was described by her classmates as a bully. She kept few friends, and often exploded at both her peers and teachers for the smallest of infractions. However, when she was calm and in a clear state of mind, she was said to be a model student. To sum her up, Catherine was, quote, a mild-mannered and pleasant girl who experienced uncontrollable murderous rages in response to minor upsets. As an adult, she remained much the same. Catherine left school at the tender age of 15, with no qualifications, and without ever learning how to read or write. By 16, she had landed what she described as her dream job: offal cutter at the local abattoir in Aberdeen. There, she learned how to debone meat, a skill which, over time, she perfected. Impressed by her dedication to her craft, Catherine's boss rewarded her with a set of butcher's knives, a trophy which she proudly hung above her bed. Wherever she moved to, those same knives would adorn her bedroom walls, so that, in her words, they'd always be close at hand if she ever needed them. In 1973, Catherine met 22-year-old David Kellett, her new co-worker at the slaughterhouse. After watching David kill a drove of pigs one morning, Catherine fell head over heels in love with him. The two of them moved in together shortly thereafter. Now David was a heavy drinker, a bad habit which he had formed to cope with his troubled past. He had previously worked on the railway lines, and had witnessed a close friend be obliterated in front of him in a shunting accident. In a separate incident, he also saw a school bus be struck by a train. Though he was able to save several passengers from the wreckage, he also had to look upon the mangled remains of 6 students, an image that had forever been engraved in his mind, which he tried and failed to delete with copious amounts of barley and rye. Catherine and David married in 1974, less than a year after they had first met. Before their service, Catherine's mother, Barbara, approached the groom and gave him a word of warning. "You better watch this one, or she'll kill you." Not exactly what you want to hear before you say "I do." On their wedding night, Catherine tried to strangle David because he, quote, only satisfied her 3 times before falling asleep. The rest of their marriage proved to be equally as volatile. In one instance, Catherine even struck David in the back of the head with a frying pan, a blow which fractured his skull. Though the authorities wanted to charge her every time she acted physically against her husband, she always talked David into dropping the charges.
I bet it looks crazy.
Not long after the birth of their first daughter, Melissa, David left Catherine for another woman. Enraged by his betrayal, Catherine took their new daughter, Melissa, to the railway line and left her on the tracks to be run over by the next train. No doubt she chose that method to torment David as much as possible, given the terrible memories he already had with the train tracks. By chance, though, a local homeless man foraging nearby happened to hear Melissa crying and rescued her mere seconds before disaster. Police later apprehended Catherine in town. She was threatening passers-by with an axe which she had stolen from the train station. She was sent to St. Elmo's Psychiatric Hospital, but somehow was able to discharge herself the following day.
What? She was
Several
sucking
days
someone
after her
off.
release, Catherine slashed a woman's face with one of her butcher's blades and demanded that she drive her to Queensland. This woman drove Catherine to a petrol station, where she was, thankfully, able to escape. However, by the time the authorities arrived, Catherine had taken a small boy hostage and roared at the cops to leave her alone, or else. They managed to take her into custody without any harm coming to the youth. Under questioning, Catherine admitted that she was planning to hunt down and slay David, the husband who had deserted her. But first, she was going to kill the mechanic who had fixed his car, the car that had enabled David to leave in the first place. Catherine was, again, sent to another psychiatric institution to get the help she so clearly needed. Unbelievably, she was released less than 3 months later. Even more unbelievably, her husband David decided to move back in with her.
What the fuck?
The couple relocated
That's
to
unexpected.
Ipswich and had a second daughter together. In 1984, Catherine herself left David and moved back to Aberdeen. Over the next few years, Catherine had several more relationships, each one more turbulent than the last. Her next partner was a man named David Saunders. She cut the throat of his dingo pup in front of him, for no other reason than to show what would happen to him if he ever cheated on her. After David came John Chillingworth. They had a son together, though ended up splitting when Catherine herself had an affair with another man, her fourth and final serious partner, John Price. John was a 44-year-old father of 3, who was described by those who knew him as a terrific bloke. To begin with, their life together was peaches and cream. Despite knowing that she had a rocky relationship history, to say the least, both he and Catherine got along very well, and John's 2 eldest children who lived with him liked Catherine very much. Perhaps Kath had finally found a stable relationship with a man who could ground her. Well, I think we all know that wasn't the case. In 1998, Catherine proposed to John. He turned her down, stating that although he loved her, he just didn't want to get married. Enraged, Catherine took a video of some out-of-date medical kits that John had scavenged from his company's trash cans and sent the tape to his boss. Despite the kits holding no monetary value and having been thrown away, taking them was technically against company policy, and John was fired from the mining job that he had held for 17 years. Understandably, John kicked Catherine out of the house. Less understandably, he restarted their relationship just a few months later, though this time refused to let her move back in with him. From there, the couple began to fight more and more. Catherine even began directing her aggression at John's circle of friends, and soon, most of them refused to have anything to do with him as long as Catherine was in his life. A weary John did manage to get himself a new job, and he tried his best to just get on with his life. But Catherine's demented behaviour made everything 10 times more difficult than it needed to be, and in the end, he began to fear not only for his own life, but for the lives of his children. Things finally came to a head in February 2000, when Catherine stabbed him in the chest with a pair of scissors. John kicked Catherine out of the house on the spot, this time for good. On the morning of February 29th, 2000, John took out a restraining order against Catherine Knight. That same day, he told his co-workers that if he didn't show up for work the following day, it would be because Catherine had murdered him. They all begged him not to go home after work that day, but John said he feared what would happen to his kids if he didn't. That evening, John Price returned home and found his property completely deserted. Catherine had left a note saying that she had sent the children to a friend's house for a sleepover. John called that friend's parents to confirm that they were there and safe. They were. John spent what would be his final evening socializing with his neighbors before returning home and going to bed at approximately 11 p.m. At some point that night, while John was fast asleep, Catherine entered his home. She sat watching the TV for a while before quietly making her way upstairs to take a shower. She then entered John's bedroom, ominously placed one of her recently sharpened butcher's blades on the bedside table, and woke him up. The pair had slept, and John fell asleep. When John didn't arrive for work the following morning, his colleagues remembered what he had told them. One of his co-workers went to his house to check on him and noticed that his truck was still parked in the driveway. When he noticed a red splatter on the front door, he called the police immediately. Detectives arrived and kicked down the back door to John's home at 8 a.m. that morning. What they stepped into was nothing short of a human abattoir. Lying in the living room was John's headless and skinless body.
He fucking
Loud
skinned
snoring
him.
coming from the back of the property alerted officers to Catherine's presence. She was still inside the house, fast asleep in bed, having consumed a cocktail of pills in an attempt to end her own existence. Before doing so, however, she had put her skills as a butcher to use one final time. After John fell asleep that previous night, Catherine took her butcher's knife and stabbed him repeatedly in bed. He immediately awoke in agony and tried to turn on the light before attempting to escape. Catherine chased him through the house, continuing to slash and thrust at him. Blood evidence shows that John made it to the front door and even got outside, but was dragged back in by his unhinged killer. He then perished in the hallway. After John's life had been extinguished, Catherine proceeded to skin his entire body, including his face, ears, scalp, and neck, and hung his pelt from a meat hook above one of the doors. After flaying John, Catherine removed his head and cooked it inside a pot of vegetables. As well as this pot of human head soup, Catherine also prepared 2 other dishes, which were found laid out on the dining room table. Both plates consisted of human flesh, alongside baked potato, pumpkin, beetroot, courgette, cabbage, yellow squash, and gravy. A placement card was found beside each plate, bearing the names of John's children. Her plan was to wait for them to return home from their sleepover, and serve them their own father for dinner. A third plate of meat was found in the back garden. Catherine had eaten some of it, and thrown her leftovers out the door. After preparing her twisted meal, Catherine had driven to an ATM in Aberdeen, where she used John's card to withdraw $1,000. She also left a note accusing John of doing terrible things to his children, though all of those accusations turned out to be lies. Medics were able to save Catherine's life, and in 2001, she stood trial for barbarically taking John's. Although psychiatrists found her to be sane and fit for trial, they also determined that she likely suffered from borderline personality disorder, and her legal team defended her by claiming amnesia and dissociation. Despite pleading guilty, Catherine refused to accept responsibility for her actions, claiming that she couldn't remember any of the details of the slaying. During her trial, as one expert witness described the skinning of John, Catherine reportedly began screaming uncontrollably and had to be sedated. On November 8, 2001, the judge sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and ordered that her file be marked never to be released. The first time that ever happened to a woman in Australian history. Catherine Knight is currently detained in the Silverwater Women's Correctional Complex in New South Wales. As her file states, she will never be released.
Imagine that, yo. You're so devious to have to never be released on your file. That's crazy.
waiting for John Boy to own his crap. So it just kept going, and someone responded, got deleted. My name is Jimmy O'Brien, and Buster Only is mad at me. He has been calling me out for 11 days. So I guess let's talk about why Buster Only's mad at me. Look at it. It started on September 5th. I was in Barbados winning a cricket match on a team full of Americans, making history on the beautiful sands of paradise when I got a text that said, Buster's mad at you. He said, we call out some John Boy BS. And then the next day, day 2 of waiting for John Boy to own his crap. So it just kept going, and someone responded, got deleted, but he said, I don't know about that, but I do know he is dead wrong about this. So he's been coming at me for a while. We're up to day 11 of waiting for John Boy to be accountable. My good friend Joe's McFly said, this has got to stop. Joe's McFly was on the sands in Barbados. He was our coach, coaching us to a victory in cricket. And Buster responded, easy. He can just own the fact that in this case, he didn't know what he was talking about, and that suggesting the information was made up without actually talking to anyone was wrong. Accountability. So that's what's happening. Now, here's what happened, okay? There was a story about Aroldis Chapman that came out. Now, I was on the Yankees Reddit page. Someone posted this Nesson article where someone is retelling the story from Buster, MLB Insider. That's Buster. He's MLB Insider. Buster's been very nice to us. I like Buster a whole bunch. I still like Buster's work, and I like him as a guy, and he's been very kind to us over the years. He's upset with me. Now, I read this article, and basically this is the crux of it. Connor Wong is catching him, and for years, Aroldis Chapman's one of those guys who, when he's on the mound, the catcher is basically like, might as well just wave his hands, just throw your fastball, right? And he just throws it down the middle. Connor Wong is using PitchCom, and if you don't know what PitchCom is, it's a little device in their hat. The pitcher has a button on his knee. They press fastball, slider, and the pitcher hears it, okay? And he pushes the button that says inside fastball. And the light bulb goes off over Chapman's head. Ding, ding, ding. And he tells Connor Wong and Jason Varitek, wow, I've never thought about spotting my fastball. I just threw it to home plate. But this is the first time, like verbally, he hears inside fastball or outside fastball, and it's a whole thing, aim small, miss small. That's what Chapman has done this year. After hearing those words on PitchCom from Connor Wong, all of a sudden his whole perspective has changed. Now, I read that, and I read this. Wow, I've never thought about spotting my fastball. I just threw it to home plate. And I can't accept that. I don't think a major league pitcher who has played for 15, 17 years can go. I don't think a little league pitcher, I don't think a guy throwing wiffle balls in his backyard can play the game, pitch when he's trying to get batters out and not think, I'm going to throw a high fastball. I'm going to throw a low fastball. I'm going to throw an inside fastball. I'm going to throw this one up and in, that one low. Like, I just don't think you can play the sport and not think about that. I don't think Aroldis Chapman, until this year, had never thought about spotting his fastball. I'm not saying he didn't say that. I'm not saying that this wasn't said, and I'm not saying that it's not being reported in good faith. That's what they heard. I actually didn't say anything about the report. This is what happened. I read that. I was like, I read that right before we interviewed Aaron Boone on Talking Yanks. And I was like, well, Chapman was on the Yanks for a while. And that's just a bizarre thing. It's just a bizarre thing to have out there. So I asked Booney all about it. There's an article that Aroldis Chapman is having such a good season this year because the concept of locating his fastball. Now, watch Booney's eyes after I tell him the concept. Concept of locating his fastball finally arrived. He said that Connor Wong, what? Thinking what? Connor Wong hit the PitchCom button and it said inside fastball. And it was the first time Chapman thought, oh, I should aim it and not just throw it down the middle. Sly smile from Booney because he's hearing what I heard. And I am reporting exactly what I read in that article. Now, maybe that article did me dirty, but that they're quoting Buster. It's Nesson. And he said I didn't give Booney the context. I literally just kind of said the paragraph. Now, this is where I say a word that I shouldn't have said. And not just throw it down the middle. And I feel like that's a prank of an update from a guy who's played baseball his whole life and he's never. So I used the word prank, and I think that was great. It was very offensive to Buster because he said I made it seem like he's so naive that he got pranked and he can't detect bullshit from players. But I didn't even say Buster's name when I said this. I just said there's an article out there. And I said it sounds like a prank of an update or a prank of a quote. I kind of meant like a goof. Like it sounds like, remember Charlie Morton went to the Astros and they're like, what makes you throwing so much hard? And he was like, they just told me to throw harder. And the Yankees got Gio Urshela in 2019. He started hitting home runs. Like, they just told me to swing harder. And it's like, all right, that can't be the full story. But I appreciate you on getting on with your day and not go into the minutia of it all. That's what it sounded. It sounded like a prank of an update, a goof of an update. Like that can't be real. I understand Buster saying I'm calling him naive. I am cynical as it gets, and I just it can't be. It cannot be. So Boone talks for a while and kind of does word salad.
Plate where I had my steak. He's just sitting here looking at where I had my steak. This fucking dude. Diabolical, Rocky. You're diabolical. Are you out of here? Alright, little man. Ugh. You said you're out of here. Don't be coming back. Don't be coming back. There's no steak. There's no steak. Promise. Wouldn't lie to you. Bedtime. Bedtime. Come on, bedtime. Go. Get going. Yeah, Jay, that was nasty. That clutch last night was crazy. The 1v3. Rocky just like realizes there's no steak left after staring at my plate, then just fucks off downstairs to go back to sleep with my parents. What a fucking guy. What a little rat. He's like, you're fucking useless to me, human. You're useless to me, human. Leave. He's like telling me to leave my own room. Leave. Agility is a fun thing you can grind for sure. Agility is definitely a fun thing.
It's just that I gotta. Things got you down? Yeah. Happens to the best of. Yeah, it got me real down,
Hey, he's on. Funny you have Knockowl's stream.
Just
He
wanna
was
go
on
out and-
Scrappy's stream legit crying
really-
about how bad Apex
really-
is. Oh yeah.
Really do something. Taxi life, you mean? Yeah, well. Nah, it's. I don't know. I just want to go out. I really. I really want to. I got some bad ideas in my head. I just. Oh, look at it this way, you know.
I have seen Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver countless times. I think I was 13 when I first watched it, and now I'm in my 20s. I have grown so accustomed to the film that I could probably watch the whole movie in my head. It's a movie I do love. Taxi Driver has been that big movie that has stuck with me for so long, and I honestly can owe a lot of my growth as a person throughout my teenage years to this movie. It is one of the very few movies I can say changed my life in some way, or at least it changed my personal philosophies. In this video, I'm going to be exploring why that is. The movie follows Robert De Niro's Travis Bickle, who is introduced here when he's applying for the taxi driver job itself. On the surface, it's a standard scene. It's essentially an exposition scene, existing to tell us our protagonist's name, military history, lack of education, and insomnia. But what makes the scene stand out is the framing and the sound. Throughout the scene, we can see these two characters having some kind of ordeal in the reflection of the mirror. I see this as the first example of Travis Bickle's relationship with the world around him. It's a distant perception of people.
I made a living playing RuneScape? Fuck your age, right? Shut up.
Through the reflection of a mirror. There's no understanding of what's really being said. And as we can see with the rest of the film, Travis's relationship with the world around him is similar. He is so distant that he essentially finds himself lost in translation with the people around him. Scorsese tells us of its importance through the framing. Many other films would keep this part of the frame out of focus, and because of that, it works to show us that Travis does focus on the world around him, rather than himself. Travis, the camera, and all the aspects of the film work in unison.
Where's the RuneScape channel? This is it.
To tell the story.
I should stream RuneScape shorts though.
In contrast to the loneliness that defines Travis's life, we are introduced to Betsy, who brings life to the film's impetus in a beautiful moment of editing and cinematography here. Betsy really is the most normal kind of girl. She's an attractive woman, but that isn't much of an uncommon thing in a busy place like New York. I'm sure there's an attractive girl on every street. You can leave the house anywhere in the world and see at least one pretty girl. You can see girls in McDonald's who look just as good as your celebrity crush. With Travis, though, he really sees her as an angel. He's completely enamored by her. Yet, it is still from afar. Travis is hateful of people, yet he's fixated on this idea that Betsy is different. And considering the fact Travis doesn't personally know Betsy, and never really gets to know her like that, the story of Travis's love for Betsy is a true example of the male gaze. The male gaze being a term used for a male's selfish objectification, a way men tend to look at women that prioritizes beauty over the person behind the beauty. Travis eventually decides to approach Betsy. He does his hair, dresses up, and compliments her beauty straight away. It's a clear attempt to impress. It even comes off as slightly desperate and pushy. It's not something I think would work in real life. It's what men feel they need to do to get a woman's attention. But it's performative. I think a woman prefers that a relationship would come from a natural and friendly progression. You know, if Albert Brooks's character wasn't such a dork, he'd probably be the kind of person who could have a relationship with Betsy because they are actually acquaintances. There's nothing forced about their knowing each other. Betsy agrees to go out and have lunch with Travis, which is odd, and probably gives Travis a false sense of hope. Travis does come off as a bit weird, making quite a personal observation towards Betsy, but it intrigues her. It's as if she wants to entertain him and go along with his advancements to see where it will take her.
Or
A trend in
bloopers.
dating.
I was thinking of making like a fucking like 15-minute video of me, my progression on the Ironman so far. Just going back through some streams and like getting some cool clips of like everything that's happened. Having like a high quality production video, see how that does. And then just be like, and like have it end and be like, okay, now it's time for the fire cape. You know what I mean? And then like have like the second video be my fire cape and go onward. Onward. And just redo the reruns like all the Apex fucking losers, yeah. Take that free construction XP. Hell yeah. Dude, they just let me get free XP right there. I love that shit. Let's go, baby.
In the modern era is often when a girl would date someone who doesn't fit their ideal. Feeling the reason they have not found their match is because they are judging books by their covers, instead of taking the time to open the books. I think it's reasonable to assume that Betsy perhaps ignores Travis's red flags in favor of seeing who he really is, rather than judging him from the first.
I like free XP. Facts. Yo, I got one of the rarest pets. Well, not the rarest, but one of the most coveted pets in the game last night. I got the farming pet, bro. And like, damn near anyone wants that shit. Like, everybody wants that shit. It's one of the coolest looking ones.
Impression. When they have lunch together, Travis continues to be awkward and says things that would weird people out, but it feels as if Betsy continues to entertain it. I think Betsy is also trying to be nice.
That's my pet right there.
And she is giving Travis a chance because she can tell he's putting in the effort. The most important moment from this encounter is when Betsy uses a Chris Christopherson lyric to sum up Travis.
He's a prophet and a pusher, partly truth, partly fiction. Walking contradiction.
You're saying that about me?
Who else would I be talking about?
I'm no pusher. I never have pushed.
No, just the part about the contradictions. You're that.
The reason why this line is so important is because it essentially describes Travis's character to a T. I think Betsy, in this instance, gets this idea of Travis being a walking contradiction because he dresses up, he does his hair up, and he tries to show off this image as if he's a normal guy. But when he speaks, his words go against this idea of who he is portraying himself to be. There's also many instances throughout the film that reassure the relevance of this line, like how he is disgusted by sex, yet he watches porn movies in a theater. He wants to be healthy yet is always taking pills, drinking alcohol, and eating bad food. Or how he looks down on society, while also fitting into that society as a taxi driver, which is an important job in New York. Travis and Betsy eventually go on what Travis at least believes to be a date, and he even buys her a Chris Christopherson album, knowing she is a fan. But where things take a turn is when Travis takes Betsy to a porno theater, somewhere we've seen Travis go to already. Betsy is very much surprised to have been taken here and is hesitant to go in. She goes along with it, and of course feels uncomfortable. She leaves and calls an end to the date, and Travis further worsens things by becoming aggressive. It also turns out Betsy already owns the album and doesn't want it. This is the first hint of tragedy in the film. It's a showing of Travis's incapability to fit in. He is someone who has to create this idea of normality, but in actuality he's clueless on how to fit in. He genuinely thought going to a porno theater was a normal thing to do, and the tragic part comes from the fact that he really does have good intentions. Travis built this idea in his head that Betsy was the perfect entity, that if he was to pursue her, he will be happy. He believes that she will save him from his loneliness, but his loneliness has distanced himself so far from reality that his loneliness ends up being the reason he cannot have what he wants. Travis is essentially in a purgatory of loneliness. The effect loneliness has had on him has shaped him into a person unable to be good enough in the eyes of the person who he believes can save him. Watching the film, we just feel bad for him at this point. I think many real people have felt the same way in the real world, under more casual circumstances. This desperation to find love is made even more pathetic when Travis makes this call to Betsy. It's one of my favorite parts of the movie here, the pan to the right where we see a lonely hallway leading to the street outside. It's a perfect example of visual storytelling, and how the camera in a film is supposed to tell the audience something. Shots and camera movement shouldn't just exist to be flashy, or just to look nice. It should exist to tell the story. A simple pan here creates so much nuance, like because of this, we now question whether Travis is even on the phone with Betsy. It emphasizes how pathetic Travis seems. This pan feels as if it's telling us how Travis needs to get out of there. Travis is all alone, worrying over a girl who doesn't care about him. Yet there's a world out there. It may be an ugly one, but he should get back out there and move on. Travis doesn't move on though. He grows an obsession in fixing his mistake, to a point where he goes to Betsy's work, and most definitely kills off any luck in getting another chance with Betsy. Travis's desperation just becomes pitiful. It's upsetting at this point. Here, Travis feels more alone than ever. He was alone before, but now he has lost the hope in being saved that he created for himself. Travis even goes to one of the fellow taxi drivers he hangs out with to ask for advice, but he is incapable of understanding his feelings. He wants to say how he feels, but he can't make sense of it, and the advice he is given is also misunderstood. He is essentially told to have the mindset of a normal person. It is very normal to find identity in your work and to escape your feelings in that identity and how you spend your free time, but Travis doesn't spend his free time usefully. He became a taxi driver because he has nothing to do. Travis's idea was for Betsy to give him this life he desired, where he feels like a person who is part of the world. But without Betsy, he is incapable of figuring out that he doesn't need a woman to feel like he is part of the world. Travis, in fact, rejects the world around him. He looks at people, more specifically, the black people who heavily populate New York, and looks at them like they're beneath him. Travis is alone, not because the world left him behind, but because he chooses to not be a part of it, because he doesn't like it. What makes Travis feel like the victim, though, is that the beautiful part of the world he wants to be a part of rejects him, because he is in fact the same as these kind of people he looks down on. When Travis goes through this low period, he switches focus to Palantine. Palantine is the presidential candidate Betsy worked for. He's crucial to the film, not only because Betsy's job is to work for Palantine and run his campaign, but also because he is Betsy's oppressor in Travis's mind. Travis starts to embrace a new philosophy, a sort of primal mindset that comes with extreme exercise and diet, not an attempt to better himself like he says, but to prepare for his plan to bring down those he feels are making the world ugly. Palantine is someone Travis doesn't really know much about, and even when he meets Palantine, he is very fake in how he talks to him. The only truth that comes out of his mouth is when he speaks of his hate towards the world. All Travis can really have an opinion on, when it comes to Palantine, is how he impacts the life of Betsy. Betsy is surrounded by Pallantine's name and his face for most of the scenes we see her in, and she speaks passionately about him. I think that because he is this powerful male figure in Betsy's life, Travis blames him to some degree. He feels that if Pallantine wasn't in Betsy's life, that she would be free from this world he is so distant from. Travis, in the second half especially, is very much like a cowboy. We have these scenes with his guns. He really holds it like it's an accessory. Even the way he dresses with the boots, Travis has transformed himself into a gunslinger. He even kills a mugger he sees in the store in an act of vigilantism. Scorsese said himself that it was intentional to make Travis cowboy-like, even comparing his male savior journey to that of John Wayne's character in the classic western, The Searchers, a movie about a man who saves women from Red Indians. I think what makes this relevant is that, to me, Western protagonists, particularly in the later years of the Western obsession of the 50s and 60s, they embodied the role of the anti-hero. Travis fits so well into this archetype because we all admittedly feel bad for him at the start. We relate to a lot of what he says, and we understand that even his mistake of taking Betsy to the porn theater was an honest mistake, and a result of his lack of knowledge and connection with normal civilization. Us feeling bad for Travis works to make us invested in him as a character, and he betrays us with his violent intentions. And to go even further with the anti-hero quality of the film, we also feel conflicted by Travis's plan to kill Sport, because we do get it. Sport is wrong, and obviously we disapprove of him. Whether Sport deserves to be murdered is a whole other conversation though. Taxi Driver is structured in an unusual way. Even Paul Schrader, who wrote it, decided to write it after seeing Robert Bresson's movie Pickpocket, a movie that to Schrader was basically a movie about a guy who would write in his diary, go out and pickpocket, write in his diary, and go out and pickpocket again. Very similar to Taxi Driver. A lot of Taxi Driver is Travis writing in his diary, then going out being weird to people. I'd say the movie has two significant stages. There's stage 1 that focuses on Travis and Betsy, and there's stage 2, which focuses on Iris. Iris being a child prostitute Travis first encountered when she ran into his cab in the first half of the movie, in an attempt to get away from her pimp, Sport. But she doesn't make an appearance again until the second half, where Travis tries to help her with her situation. Iris is someone who doesn't understand the control she is under. She doesn't see herself in need of saving, but Travis has got to a point where his life is defined by his mission to save her. The opposite of looking for a woman to save you is to create this narrative where you are saving them. This is ultimately Travis's process of getting over Betsy. The dynamic Travis has with Iris, I believe, is a more literal example of what he believes is going on with Betsy and Pallantine. Iris is literally being oppressed and is being controlled under the manipulative dominance Sport holds over her. The day has come. Travis is ready to actualize his plan. He arrives at Pallantine's rally, debuting the iconic Mohawk. Travis's plan, I believe, was to kill Pallantine then Sport, but he is unable to get close enough to land the shot, so he flees the scene. Later that evening, Travis sets out to kill Sport and save Iris. It feels like a war. It's as if everything that can go wrong, goes wrong. It's an amazing scene. Travis succeeds. He kills everyone in his path, leaving Iris completely traumatized by what she has witnessed. It brings us to the end of the journey, where Travis's loneliness has fully taken him. Travis even attempts to kill himself before realizing he is out of ammunition. To me, it's the most tragic moment of the movie, as it is his loneliness that has led him to both murder and the attempted murder of himself. The hatred is alive more than any other scene. You can really feel that someone who was simply alone, confused and misunderstood, had rotted his own mind because he went so long without the help or guidance he needed. Travis is someone that was failed by the world, and I believe Travis, with his victim mentality, created this idea that both Betsy and Iris are victims of the world also just like him, where in this story, the only true victim is Iris.
Fuck, that movie is so good, dude. That was a good little fucking video essay as well. Hey, BB. What's up, big dog? How you doing? My night's alright. Had delicious fucking rice and steak and broccoli. And the vodka. Drinking the vodka. Go open these rewards. Mode 37. I want to see some juicy, baby. Give me a tome of earth. Give me a pet. Some. Search. Burnt page, man. Burnt page, burnt page, burnt page. Fuck me. Torch, finally. Nice. I'm gonna do that. Thank you. Thank you. Pyromancer garb. Find another Torch. Finally, dude. How many KC is that? Like, what, 185 of those bitches open, and I finally got a piece. 2 pieces, 3 pieces technically, because I got 2 brooms. Holy fuck. About time, man. About time. Let's find something to watch here. Time is 1:43. Putting on a movie. It's been settled. Hey, stop that. What's up, indeed. Jackie talks up. Got my little sheet of oil here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, homies. Fuck, I need to get a new auxiliary cord. Are you wasting time? Another broom torch. Crazy. Woke the fuck up. I'll be heading to bed here in a few. And like do a little farm run. Call and then call it. How you doing this week? You have a good day at school? School's cool. You learning anything or no? Nothing there, really? Damn. I hear you. But that'll change soon. Yeah, you're just getting into the swing of things. Britannia. Tomorrow night, I gotta do agility, man. Well, gentlemen, going to bed. Y'all have a lovely night. Peace. Peace, Squirt. You have a good night, buddy. Appreciate you, brother. Hope you get some sleep.